So did China just invade the United States and Canada and nobody said anything? Nobody cares. Nobody is questioning it? Were we just invaded on our own soil willingly? All right. And this is happening in places where you would expect: New York City, Toronto. All right. We have essentially been invaded. This is a standing Chinese police force that has been established in New York City and Toronto, all right, and multiple other cities in Canada as well, but there's 3 different ones in Toronto, all right? So what we're talking about here is China has set up foreign police to essentially monitor Chinese citizens while they are abroad, all right? So this is their excuse, at least, of why they're doing it. So they have set up police stations with all Chinese nationals as the police force in New York City, all right? And they are enforcing Chinese laws and Chinese rules from China on Chinese citizens that are in America, okay? And also in Toronto, Canada, this is happening. This is huge. This is massive. This is, why are we allowing this to happen? Why are we allowing this into our country, okay? And you could say that, I'll be fair. You could say America is also kind of does the same thing. We have our military in how many different countries all around the world. And I'm sure a lot of countries like it and feel safe from it, but I'm sure some countries feel uneasy about it. Okay? So why are we allowing this? Why are we allowing China, that doesn't have our best interest, to set up police forces? And this is what they're doing. So look for this to come to America, all right? They are harassing citizens that don't follow the rules. And what they are doing is either threatening to essentially kidnap them and deport them back to China, or they are threatening to harass their families inside China if they don't follow the rules here. All right. So if you try to like get away from them, you try to escape, then they will just hurt your family in China. They will suffer there. They will pay your consequences because you're not following the rules. So what else is this police force doing? If they have surveillance technology and they are tracking and tracing all these citizens, then what else are they doing? Are they tracking Americans as well? Are they surveilling Americans? They're in New York City, where millions of Americans live. All right. I'm sure they're picking up some of their data as well. Okay. And China just recently signed this law where they can go after people that are, quote, committing any kind of like fraud or scams or online crimes. They can go after them anywhere in the world. They sign their own law, not in accordance with other countries, but just their own domestic law, saying that we will go after anyone around the world for any kind of like online crime or scams. So they're kind of also domestically saying we will enforce our rules internationally and we will target citizens that are committing crimes. All right. And they were saying it could be foreigners or domestic Chinese citizens. All right. So how long before we are harassed like this? All right. We know how China is with their social credit score system. They are implementing a global carbon credit tax system by 2025 on all businesses in China and everyone that does business with the businesses in China. So if you buy anything from these businesses, you will also be subject to the carbon credit tax that they're implementing as well. How long before this all comes here? We all know that they use China as the model. All right. And this is a national security risk as well. China has just bought massive amounts of farmland in South Dakota, right near a military base. I believe it's like 10 miles from a military base. Massive amounts of farmland. China owns millions of acres of farmland inside the United States and grows the crops, uses our water, uses our rain, uses our soil, our amendments in the soil, everything. And they ship it back to China. Hay is a giant one. I was reading that China, it's harder for them to grow hay, and it grows very easy here. So they have all these farms growing massive amounts of hay, which you know, it doesn't take a ton of water compared to some crops, but it's kind of a heavy water, or a water heavy crop if you want to have a decent harvest of hay. Normally hay fields are irrigated unless you are in a very lush area like Florida or somewhere down south, somewhere kind of subtropical that gets a lot of rain. Your hay fields are most likely irrigated. Some of them aren't, obviously they aren't, but the best ones are irrigated. So they are taking, we're in, you know, having record drought, record crop issues, and then they are buying up our farmland and using our water, our resources, our soil. These wells, you know, the aquifers all kind of share the water, all right? So if they're pumping water out and it's going to this Chinese farm and all the hay is being shipped to China, that's kind of water taken from our farmers, okay? So why are we allowing this? This is a national security issue, and this is only going to get worse, all right? I've brought this up before, but sorry about that. I'm still not feeling great, guys. Thank you for sticking with me and listening to my hoarse voice. I know it's always a little bit, but thank you guys. But I'm bringing this up, but Huawei, okay? Huawei was essentially in every telecommunications device in America at one point. They were in, or at least every other one. Their technology was in it, and it all had backdoors to China, okay? There was a time period where China was collecting this data on a mass scale, okay? And look at things like TikTok, where people willingly download this app. This is one of the reasons why I don't want to get on TikTok, because people willingly download this app that says, yes, we send your data back to the Chinese government. Essentially, our data servers are in China, right? It's stored in China. The company's called ByteDance that owns it, and all their servers are in China. So all your information is run through China, which means they see it, okay? And it also has very advanced AI to map out your personality, things that you like. Very specifically, the logarithm in TikTok is very, very just strange, okay? It's very tailored and personalized and knows how to deliver very direct content. It almost seems like, oh, it's like a chicken and egg thing. It's like, is this putting ideas in my mind, or am I thinking of these ideas and it's just kind of like showing me things because that's how I think, you know? It's one of these things. TikTok's very weird and dystopian. You could say that for YouTube too, but YouTube's a little different. YouTube's long form, like this video's a, 8, 9, 10 minute long video. It's long form. TikTok has these little 15-second clips that get you addicted and give you dopamine hits, and you want the next dopamine hit. So you're always like looking for it with these little clips, instead of just like sitting down and listening to like a long form conversation and like imagining things that people are saying. And you know what I mean? It's different. It's a different format. Obviously, all social media has its issues, but TikTok's a national security risk too. That's why Trump almost banned it a couple years ago. All right, maybe he should have. Maybe that would have been the right thing to do. But let me know what you think, all right? New York City has one official Communist Chinese Party police department in it. Very strange. Out of the jurisdiction of America, everything. It's its own thing. And Toronto has 3 of them. So let me know what you guys think. Is this the start of us being in? It's not going to be a, especially with China. China's so calculated. It's probably not going to be bombastic and, a big invasion. It'll probably be calculated and well planned out. And all the parts will be in play before they do it. So let me know what you think. Is this a security risk? And thank you guys. You have a blessed day.